There are currently over 750 champions in Raid Shadow Legends, and what does Polarium do? They did exactly what you thought they would do. They went on and added some more champions. And while we did get some decent additions to the game this year, it kinda seems like the majority of those champions that came in have seemed to just water down the pool. And with every week that goes by, it just seems harder and harder to get champions that you actually want and champions that will actually make a difference for your account. Let's take a look at the two new champions that will be added to the game to see, are they watering down the pool even more, or are these champions that are going to be beneficial to the player base? So the first champion is going to be Lady of Ireth. She is a Sylvan Watcher's legendary spirit champion. She is a support champion. She activates continuous heal with the A1. She has a single target heal and a cleanse on the A2. It says if the target ally is not fully healed, she's gonna place a block damage buff on them for 2 turns, which is pretty solid actually. If the ally is fully healed, gonna fill their turn meter by 50%. If this was AoE, that would be crazy. Her A3 plays a 25% strengthen buff and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. There's gonna be 3-turn cooldown. If this A2 was AoE, I think she would be amazing. She places a shield buff equal to 15% of her max HP on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns at the start of her turn. So that is solid. That's on a 2-turn cooldown. Actually can be booked down to happen every time she takes a turn. Actually solid passive there. But if this A2 was AoE, I think that she would be a ridiculous support champion. I think the sheer fact that this is single target just kind of takes away from it a bit. She is a legendary champion. I feel like they could have made this AoE. But her kit is pretty straightforward, decent support champion. Is she going to be 100% a game changer? Probably not. But is she going to be usable? Yes. Now the next champion actually kind of reads like a book. This guy's kit is actually crazy. They said that he is a PvP champ. I can see where he could be used in PvP, but then again, it may be a bit counterproductive depending on your account. You're probably not going to use this guy. He is a void attack legendary. Honestly, if I'm pulling void shards, I don't know that I want to 100% get this guy, but let's go down his kit and see what we can come up with. His A1 is a single target. It ignores shield, has a 60% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Also has an 80% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies under Hex. I don't know how many people are going to be placing Hex in PvP content. The A2 is an AoE and deals single target damage to each target individually rather than AoE damage. Before attacking, has an 80% chance of placing a Hex debuff on all enemies for the 2 turns. Will ignore 20% of each enemy's res for each dead ally. Damage of this skill increases by 10% for each debuff on each enemy. His name is Valkanen, by the way. Now, interesting thing about this A2, the attack deals single target damage, right, to each target individually rather than AoE damage. So I feel like people with passives like Duchess, Python that reduce damage based on AoE, this is not going to, like, this is pretty much going to ignore that. This could be strong based on the multipliers. I don't know if I want him placing Hex either. I don't want him getting sheeped and what have you. Now this A3 is where it kind of really gets crazy, right? He targets an ally. If the ally is alive, he's gonna kill that ally. And then unlocks a secret skill, Malice Unleashed. Also places a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns and a true fear on all enemies. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. Then fills this champion's turn meter by 75%. If the ally is dead, heals this champion by 50% of the dead ally's max HP. If all allies are dead, also unlocks a secret skill, Malice Unleashed. Places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to any surplus heal. If this champion already has a shield buff, the value of the shield is increased by any surplus heal. Then fills this champion's turn meter by 75%. This is Malice Unleashed. This is the secret skill that he's going to unlock. Before attacking, he's going to steal all buffs from the target. This effect cannot be resisted. If the target has attack equal to or higher than this champion's attack, this attack gains a bonus damage multiplier equal to the target's attack. Not applicable to bosses. If the target's attack is less than this champion's attack, this attack will ignore 50% of the target's defense. This attack will also ignore block damage, unkillable shield, and ally protection buffs. Places a block revive debuff if the target is killed. So that is actually a decent skill. It reads a lot, but to have a block revive in there and be able to ignore block damage, unkillable shield, and ally protection, and also get that bonus damage if the champion that you're attacking has more attacks. So basically, if you're attacking a Necrit protected champion that is stronger than you, like a Georgette or someone like that, or Rotos, who you're not gonna be able to kill with this anyway because of Rotos passive, then you get what I'm saying, right? So he has a passive here, places a shield buff on this champion each time an ally or enemy champion dies. The value of the shield buff is equal to 50% of the dead champion's max HP. This shield buff cannot be removed, stolen, or transferred. If this champion is already under a shield buff, the value of the shield is increased by 50% of the dead champion's max HP. Does not activate when a boss or minion dies though. Passive effect. Whenever an enemy hits this champion while they're under a shield buff, places a random debuff on the attacking enemy. So that could be fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, petrification, sleep, stun, right? And you place those for 1 turn. Any other debuffs are placed for 2 turns. Will ignore 20% of the enemy res for each dead ally. Cannot place boss exclusive debuffs, so sheep or smite. He also has a great aura, increase ally speed in arena battles by 30%. So they really want us to use this guy in arena, and I feel like his kit has some potential. Obviously, it would need to be tested quite a bit. Also, we need to see what the multipliers are, but I feel like it reads a lot. It's gonna take quite some setup. You want people on your team to die. I feel like in certain situations, this guy could be really good. Kind of wish he would get something more from the shield, since he's getting these shields, placing shields on himself and whatnot. If his damage increased based on the size of his shield that he has, that would be some sort of cool mechanic. I really like that the AoE deals single target damage individually. I feel like that's going to be really strong. I do think it will be a bit difficult though to effectively get this secret skill unlocked, get the most out of his kit, because he's likely going to be the squishiest champion on your team, likely going to be the one that dies first. So we'll see how it goes, but those are the new champions coming to the game. There's going to be a 10x opportunity this weekend to get these champions, so maybe you get one. I don't know if anybody's going to be pulling void shards this weekend because it's a 2x sacred opportunity, so people probably going to be pulling sacreds. Maybe you're going to get Lady of Ireth, you know, and help you out with your Sylvan Watchers faction. Faction Wars should be open very soon. So thank you for your support as always. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. Like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, be good and be well.